Hi, and welcome to a brand new episode of Sippin' Tea with Suzanne. I am your fabulous host, Positively Suzanne, and I'm excited to be in the studio because I have with me the lovely Louissaint. How are you?
Hey, how are
Hey.
you?
I am good. I am good. I'm excited. I'm glad that you were finally able to make it into the studio. Our schedules finally aligned, so I'm looking forward to our chat today.
Yes, it's been a long time coming. I'm definitely a fan. Loved the lineup you had. I enjoyed watching Evelyn Tony last week, so everything's wonderful. I love it.
All right, wonderful. I will have to tell you that folks like forget there's a camera
Oh,
and we just be talking. No, that's fine.
okay,
I'm just letting
okay.
you know. So, it is live. So they're like, oh my God, I had so much fun. So I'm looking forward to our chat.
Okay, excellent.
All right, yay. All right, so first I want to say thank you to our loyal viewers and subscribers. Honestly, if you guys don't watch it, like there's no show because there's no audience, right? So I really appreciate you guys not only subscribing to YouTube at Positive Vibe Studio, I appreciate you guys watching on Facebook. Remember the new Facebook rule, it goes away after 30 days, but you can always go to YouTube and watch it. I've got to shout out my executive producer, Paul Anderson, for making the magic happen week after week. And
Hey, Paul. Hey.
hey, and I got to give it up for my lovely guests that continue to say yes, that continue to ask, and just and folks recommend and things like that. We are ending the month of May, and I'm really excited about it because next month we have June, and then June becomes the season finale, and then we'll have a new season, fourth season. God is so intentional in September, but I'm gonna give it up to my guest right now because this hour is about her. So I have Miss Louissaint. You are currently the founder and executive director for 508 Cheers, and we're gonna talk about that in a bit. You are a community activist. I don't want to say activist because I think sometimes folks, I let people describe themselves,
Community
right?
partner.
Community partner. Yep, we'll go with that. You currently work at Seven Hills. So before we do that, I always like to talk to people though about like when they were young, what did they envision they would do?
Oh, wow.
So baby
This
Echo.
this is gonna sound silly.
Yeah.
It went twofold.
Okay.
So I don't know if you've ever seen the movie, I think it's Baby Boom with
Okay. Yeah,
Diane
Diane
Keaton.
Keaton.
Yes,
Yes. Loved it.
loved it, loved everything about it. I just always knew that I was going to be the voice or the face of a brand or like of something, like representing something bigger than myself. I always saw myself in that, marketing, advertising, communications, just really being out there, and talking about a product, but especially something I love or care about or really am like excited about. So that was one. And then this other one, it might not make sense to other people, but if you know me, I love Jesus. Everything I have, everything I've ever been provided, it came from God. Without God, where would I be? What would I have? What would I do? And from when I was young, I always said, and maybe I didn't even know the capacity of what I was asking God for, but I said, I want to be a Christian woman, and I want to have a family.
Okay.
And those were things in my young age that I knew were important to me. And I think maybe it was just the idea, and I guess the more that I grew up and learned about it, it was more the idea of, the virtuous woman, right? What is a virtuous woman? Who can find her? Her
Okay.
worth is greater than pearls, right? She brings honor. Honor to her household, the Proverbs 31 woman. She increases the worth of her family. She brings respect to her husband's name. She takes the little and she makes it more, right? And those are all things that I had real value to and held on to even as a child, but I didn't really know what any of that meant.
And you didn't know how it was going to materialize. Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. All right. Well, thank you. So I know that journey in Lady Cheers. So currently you're in HR at Seven Hills. So
Yes.
let's talk a little bit about that.
So I am an HR generalist at Seven Hills, and I work with all of our special groups, interns, BIPOC groups, immigrant and refugee groups and programs, anything advancement related. So if you're in the organization and you want to grow, you want to advance, you want to increase in your education, you're interested in how do I rise in this company, leadership wise. Those are things that go through me. And I really have to say that this job was a blessing from God, because as I was looking, for the job that I needed to be in, and this opportunity came before me, I was like, oh, I've always wanted to be in HR. I'm like, okay, I'm good with people, I'm good with policy, I'm good with problems, relationship, and problem solving. And when I said yes to this job, I couldn't have imagined that my job has little to do with HR.
Yeah.
But I love it because it's all, and what I mean by that, it's not the norms of what you would think about HR. I'm not processing I-9s and W-2s and, dealing with all of that stuff. I'm actually, I'm helping to change people's lives. You actually got to come in and be the keynote speaker, right, at our Human Services Career Support program. That program is beautiful, right? We graduated, maybe 31 immigrants and refugees, right? People who came over here, they're getting their education, they're interested in human services and career support. They're going through the joint program that we have with Open Sky and Seven Hills, and it's amazing. They're getting hands-on training. They're rotating through different like whether it's residential, housing, or different understandings in different areas to kind of figure out like where do I fit in the human services career. But then we also, wrap around with some support, right? We're going to help them get their license. We're going to help them kind of get things together in their life if they need, to figure things out, whether it's rent, whether maybe it's help with immigration. We have wraparound support included in that program. But more than that, this is our 6th cohort.
Yeah.
And we have had families, people who have come in as an individual and who have loved this program and what it brought to them so much that they then came back and brought like their brother or their sister or their mom or their aunt. So now we're seeing like families come through our, clinical leadership pathway that their lives are being changed.
It is.
And it's through, starting programs like this where we're giving people opportunities. And I just love it because they're so deserving. And there's so much more that I think we can do to support our immigrant and refugee population. So being a part of this program is magical, and you got to be there to see the joy.
No, it is. It is a great program. I got to give a shout out to Open Skies and Seven Hills for what they do, and just the graduates that day. It was truly outstanding to see. They were so just excited and just felt grateful and just gratitude. And I really got to give you kudos for mentioning my name in a room that I wasn't in. I wasn't even a part of. I didn't even know about this program when I get the call and said, you have nominated to be the keynote speaker, and they said yes. And it was truly an honor to be there that day and just speak to the class. And they were just so proud. And just to be even a small part of that day was truly inspiring. So thank you for mentioning my name in rooms. That's something that I'm passionate about, women, uplifting other women and calling out other women's name in rooms of opportunity. And just through the collaboration of both those organizations and what they do in the community, I think it truly is outstanding. I actually recommended the program after somebody was telling me about something. I recommended it to someone. I said, you really should think about this if you're thinking of a HR career, because I really think that this was just phenomenal, and I'm so glad I was a part of it. So thank you.
I love it.
All right, thank you.
I think it's so important to uplift each other, especially like as you're creating like these relationships. When they said we need someone who's going to inspire, uplift, and prepare these people, and also congratulate them and celebrate them, I said, all right, I had you in mind, and then I had one other person in mind, and I thought, oh my God, like these two people are so perfect. And I'm just so excited that you were available because when I tell you the speech that you delivered, it was great. And I don't know if you got to watch the video, but there were the girls behind us.
Yeah.
As she's talking and the girls in the background. And listen, we don't even got to tell you much about these girls. You're going to know everything. They was like, amen. Yes, girl. Yes, girl.
Yes.
Tell it, girl. all
were
throughout her
very
speech.
active. They
We
were
don't need to
very
give you much
active.
details about these young women,
Yeah.
but I think you can conclude,
Yes, they were. They were. I love that.
It was amazing.
Them's my people, and
Yes,
they were just.
yes.
But and honestly, and that inspires me to continue to do what I do. And I think oftentimes, right, when we have a passion for something, like you have a passion for community and youth, right, and we're doing it, and it's not for reward, because honestly, sometimes there's no monetary rewards for the things that we do. But when you see interactions like that, when folks come up to you, like you're in a supermarket and somebody said, I heard you speak, or because of a program that you did, I'm able to do that. Like it shifts something in you.
It does.
It really does.
My greatest accomplishment, I think, in my nonprofit, 508 C.H.E.E.R.S, which stands for Community Health Equity, Empowerment, Resources, and Service, is, we work with a bunch of different youth. We also work with a high level of at-risk youth. And to see some of the youth who are coming through my program, who literally have just in these past 4 to 6 weeks gone to school committee meetings and spoke during public hearing, gone to city council meetings and spoke during public hearing about things that they care about. And what they care about is the lack of after-school programming for youth and youth programming in the city of Worcester. And I said to them, who wants to come to the city of Worcester, because we got to make some changes. And we, I'm teaching them about social service and social action. And we do a lot of community service in 508 C.H.E.E.R.S. And, I said, we've been doing a lot of social service, and that's the community service work, that we're doing. And I had actually recently joined the WCCC, I think it's Worcester Community
Action Council?
No, Worcester Community Connection.
Okay.
It's through
There's,
Inc. And
there's
Ann
a lot
Bureau.
of WC.
Yes, Ann Bureau runs it. It's the WCCC. It's through the Worcester Resource Center, and it's their parent education leadership group.
Oh, good.
Right.
Yes.
And I joined it. It was like I think it's 8 to 12 week parent leadership training. And I said, I don't know what this is, but I'm a parent and I'm a leader. And I whatever that deals with, I want to know more about how to be better in where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I went, and every single week, the information that I got from that group, and what Anne and her cohort had put together, every single week I was so excited. I took it right back to my youth program, and I said, "Here, this is what we're going to do. This is what I learned. This is what I learned." And then by the time I was done, the WCCC, there's 3 C's. Don't know how many I said, but W and 3 C's program. That is when, at the same time, all of this activism and speaking out started happening with my youth, because I was bringing what I was learning from there to them, and I said, God, I have all this passion, but there's no direction in it, right? And you can be so passionate about something,
absolutely,
but if you don't take the opportunity to learn or educate yourself on it or how to change it, then you're just a ball of passion.
Absolutely.
Right? But passion,
which burns out.
Yeah, passion with direction.
It's different.
Passion with intention.
With purpose.
Passion with purpose and education and knowledge around that. That's powerful.
It is.
And I was able to take all of that and then bring it to my youth and teach it to them in a way that they said, we want to do that too.
Yeah.
And then they went down to City Hall and they spoke, and they said the most amazing things. But two of the people said, Miss Echo, she saw me, and the world threw me away because I was a bad kid.
Wow.
But I went to Miss Echo's program, and she made me care about myself. And I cared not only about myself, but how I presented myself in the world. And I know that in order to be respected, I had to give respect. And I started changing my life. And that's why you need to fund more programs like this. Because I was a bad kid. I was kicked out of middle school. Before, I was in an alternative school. I was in an immersion program. That's how I got to Miss Echo. And then I got to Miss Echo, and now, look, I'm in City Hall.
I love it.
And she's starting in Worcester Youth Leadership this summer. She is now a Worcester Youth Leadership member.
Oh,
And
that's
I mean, that's such
incredible.
an incredible story.
That's incredible. So I
Yeah.
do want to talk about that, but you've jumped ahead for a little, which is great. And so stick a pin right there because I want to come back, but I want to find out what started your community actions. Like what made you like, okay, I want to start in the community. And then how did 508 Cheer? Because I love what it's doing, but how did this idea come about and what made you say, now is the time to start this?
So, I mean, I've been serving in the community like my whole life, from when I was young. It's just something that I can remember my grandma taking me to like the senior citizens home.
Yeah.
To like, my sister played trombone.
Oh God.
And I played the flute.
Okay.
So imagine like it's my twin, right? Two giant girls. And one's there like, burr, 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 burr.
Yes.
And then I'm there like, like, right? And then we're like,
Now, were you any good?
Yeah.
Okay,
I was
okay.
first flute.
Okay.
I was a competitive flute player.
Flutist.
We went down to Disney, played at
Okay.
Disney in a competition.
Oh, wow.
So yes, I was in marching bands.
Okay.
Look at me telling my secrets. So is my sister in her trombone. Boom, 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 boom.
I tell you about this camera. People be telling their business. Okay.
But so long story short, I went to Clark University, and me and my twin got a $44,000 community service scholarship for all of the community service work we'd done as we, were young. And Clark, their big, huge foundation is serving your community, right? Making your community better. And so I majored in communications and culture. And I literally, I took this class and it was about like the different cultures and the different organizations and how you really need to be sensitive to diversity and how diversity makes the world better. And then I went out into the community and did work. And I just realized you can make a living helping in your community. You can make a living serving in your community.
Absolutely.
And that really activated me. So I've been serving in my community for as long as I can remember. Started off as a basketball coach. I've been basketball coach for over 10 years in Worcester, C.H.EE.R.S. I've coached some AAU, competitive boys and girls. And that was actually kind of the basis, the foundation, the start of what would now be 508 Cheers. It started off as a basketball based nonprofit. About 3 years ago, there was a lot of violence in the city of Worcester, but it was especially sad because it was teen violence.
Yeah.
Right? Teens were killing teens, like murdering them. It was scary, and people were scared to go out and you drive around the city. Now, when I grew up, you couldn't find an empty basketball court. Even when I came into Worcester when I was 17, basketball courts. Yeah. You was on the side for 5 games, like I got next, and you'd wait there for an hour because you knew if you went anywhere else,
it's gonna be gone.
You weren't gonna have next.
Yeah.
And to see no kids on the basketball court and knowing how, basketball is like a real piece of identity to the BIPOC community. It's like a part of who we are, and it's a lot of what these youth do to stay out of trouble. So to see none of them on a basketball court. Me and a few other basketball coaches went out to Compton Park on a Friday night, and we just, started utilizing social media. Hey, we're here, we're training, we're playing basketball. It's free, it's safe. Come out. And kids started coming out on Friday night. And it was more kids than you would normally see. And it just became full. And we come out a few Fridays, and we just started coming out every Friday. And then I said, oh man, I got all these kids' attention. And it was right when the Worcester Community Fridges had started. So I was an organizer in that. I'd helped Maria Ravelli open the fridges. And I said, oh, I got all these kids here. I got to do something with them. So we did a park cleanup. And the kids were so excited. They were really excited to serve and to give. And they were excited because we were excited. Yeah. And I thought, oh, I'm on to something here. Like, I got to keep this going. So the next time I said, hey, everyone, bring something. We're going to go down to a community fridge. You ever seen a community fridge? They're like, no. So, they brought donations. We went down to a community fridge. They got to see it. I talked to them about it. We cleaned it. They put stuff in it. They got to see families, take stuff from it. And it was a really not one kid was there going, oh, yeah, I want to go home. Like there were excited. And then that's when I decided, like, this is going to be a basketball-based community service nonprofit where I use basketball to like rope in the youth. Like, hey, basketball, free training, open gym, come see me, right? But then after you're there, now I gotta mentor you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just like sneak it in on them, but they love it.
Good.
They really love it. And then 3 years later, we've evolved in some places, but here we are.
Okay, I love it. And I met some of the girls that's in your program. They came to an event that we had, and it was really nice to
Yes.
meet them. It's nice to see them out and about in the community. I've seen them at different events. I've seen them in the paper. I've seen them at City Hall. And, I think, what you said about them saying you saw them. And I think sometimes we don't see them because, again, like there's a rash of violence like in Worcester, right? So folks generally like, oh, these kids are no good, and they're violent thugs. And yes, sometimes, but sometimes circumstances make them who they are. And taking somebody to see them and pulling them out and says, that could have been you, or it was you, but it doesn't have to be, because we all have the ability to change our lives, and let's change it for the better. So it's really nice to see them just getting so involved and just doing different things. And I think, one of the things when folks are doing things in service of others, I also believe that it changes you, because if you're just doing things for you, but not only are they doing things, they're helping others and they feel better, because they're like, oh, I'm feeding other teens, or I'm feeding other families.
Yes.
Because then you get purpose.
Yes.
You get purpose, because after all your needs are met, then, the need for community, helping others, that's a huge need that we all should have.
I love it, because I think that a lot of the times, so we do a lot of social emotional health, mental health work with these kids, and a lot of like surveys. What do you think? What do you feel? How did this, what are your thoughts? And as they're providing their actual fluid thoughts, we adjust programming around it. So for the spring session, we provided them the curriculum, and the curriculum was on basically like community, right? Community, health, equity, empowerment, resources, service. It's going to be a introduction to all those things and why they make up, a successful community.
Yeah.
And I sent them the curriculum, and I said, what are you most looking forward to, out of all this learning? 95% of the youth said the mental health week. And they all had their own personal reasons, and none of it was the same. But essentially that they're all struggling with mental health, that everyone around them is having a challenge with mental health. And if they better knew how to handle their mental health, or understand mental health resources, or have access in dealing with that was extremely important to them. So, we started to make adjustments. And now in the beginning of every class, we do a mental health exercise or activity. And it's really about like the understanding of mental health, the importance of mental health, and getting them to talk about their mental health. Like so many times, like we talk about feelings, and we're talking about feelings with kids. We want everything to be happy and positive, right? And that's why they never tell you when something's bad, because the only emotion that we allow kids to express without recourse is joy. Right? But what if they are sad? What if they are depressed? What if they are angry? Like, life sucks right now and I'm angry. Great, let's talk about it. Let's process that, right? That's normal feeling. Matter of fact, let's talk about it with the people in your community, these youth, because then you'll understand not only are they feeling it too, you're not alone.
Exactly.
Right? And then we can come in and support each other. And the youth are really finding their voices. They're connecting with each other, and they're changing, and they're advocating for themselves. And when I have youth say, I want to present myself differently in the world because I care about myself, right? That's a super big deal. And innately, I found that a lot of these kids didn't see value in themselves. And I thought, wow, you're all valuable, right? God doesn't make junk.
He does not.
Right? So what's a great way to help see someone value in themselves? By serving someone else. And if I can show you that you're so valuable and worthy that you can change the life of someone else, that's a filling feeling. That's full.
Yeah.
That's empowering, right? So we teach them how to change the lives of other people and see other people. And in seeing other people, they feel seen.
Okay.
Right? And pouring into other people, it's really pouring into themselves. They're going, wow, I did that.
Yes, in service of others.
Yeah, and they
others.
build a positive relationship with service. And I dare say, if you're chasing a high or you're chasing a feeling, that's a good feeling to chase.
It is.
And a lot of them like come running to the program. What are we doing today, Ms. Echo? Are we making? You know what I mean? Are we going to make meals today? Like we make 100 meals to serve the unsheltered and families in need monthly. That's like one of our core community service projects, because we're food insecurity based mostly within our community service work, a lot of it. But that's great.
Okay.
You know, it's really great. It's wonderful.
All right, awesome. So what age group do you serve?
So the mentorship program itself, it works in a few different ways. We are partnered with the Worcester Community Action Council and YouthWorks. So some of these youth are lucky enough to have jobs, right? Some of these youth get paid to be a part of the mentorship program, with their job being, how can I be the greatest possible human I can and make a positive effect on my community?
Yeah.
So they're getting paid to perform community service, learn about advocacy, civic engagement, and, you know, really better themselves and expose themselves to leadership opportunities. So the youth who are paid are 14 to 26, but generally I'm dealing with 14 to 17-year-olds for the most part.
Okay.
But we also have a portion of our program that serves middle schoolers, right? So I have a portion of my program where we're serving 10 to 13. And we're doing projects right now at Elm Park Community School with some of their youth. So that's younger. And we also do basketball food insecurity camps, which are my absolute favorite. I'm a basketball coach.
Can you ball though?
Can I ball?
Can you ball?
Excuse me. Look at my stats. I'm a 1,000-point scorer.
Okay.
I am a Hall of Famer.
Okay, girl.
Okay.
Okay.
One of the banners in the Clark University gym.
Is
one
yours?
of those NUMAC championships belongs
wow.
to me.
Okay. I have to see you ball then.
I actually got most of my basketball, clout here by beating most of the men here out in basketball.
Oh,
out
wow.
On the playground.
Okay.
Yeah, they know.
Yeah.
Don't come into the paint and think it's going to be easy. And we played when it was no blood, no foul.
Okay.
So if you're coming in, just
okay. Oh my goodness. Okay.
So, yes,
okay.
no.
I love it. What high school did you go to in Worcester?
Maynard. I didn't. I grew up in Maynard.
Oh.
So I came here
So
when
you
I was
didn't play
17.
ball in Worcester.
I came here when I was 17 for college.
Okay.
I went to Clark University.
Okay.
I was being recruited for basketball, softball, and soccer for college. And we got, I say we because my twin, Bree Sweet Treats, cuckoo. No. Bree Sweet Treats, Brianna Asia, that is my twin sister.
Does she ball too?
Yes, let me tell you something.
Really?
She was a 3-point shooter.
You're going to have to show me videos.
Yeah,
I cannot believe
they called us the Twin Towers. We were in the paper nonstop. But it was like Beauty and the Beast. She was all finesse.
Yeah.
And, she had moves up
and then you're just like, get it in.
Give me the ball, get out of my way. I'm drop stepping, power one, dribbling. I'm over here. Listen, there's a problem when you come out the game and you're like, Coach, how many fouls do I got left? She's like, no, Echo.
None.
It's how many fouls do I have? It's not how many fouls do I have left.
Okay.
So that's the type of player I was.
Oh my God. See, this is why I love this show, because I find out so much. I never knew that you guys were ballers.
Oh, we were.
Oh my
We played
goodness.
every sport at a high level. Like I said, we got college offers in basketball, softball, and
for
soccer.
Sports. Yeah. I love it. I absolutely love it. We're gonna have to put on a over 40 basketball team, right?
So Summer Jam Classic has continued to ask me to play,
I'm
but
so dumb.
y'all know. Listen, I'm gonna go there. Y'all know I was run over by a speeding car. And I can't play basketball no more. Other than that, I would be dropping it down.
But let's
low
talk
on
about
you.
the grace of God, because when I
grace.
heard about that, I was like, girl, and you came out of that like literally like that was a bad accident.
It was scary.
God is good.
God is good. God is beyond good. And all I can tell you is, I know God was with me.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm gonna tell you this story, y'all. You cannot believe me if you want. There is evidence. So I was walking across the street. I remember. So when I was young, they used to play this game where we'd be driving in my car with my nanny, and I would wait till I could see like no cars around me. And when I did, I was like, oh, I won. And it just like brought me this sense of peace. So I remember getting ready to cross the street, and I remember looking around and going, oh my God, like the city is so still, so quiet right now. And like this peace that I can't explain to you just like fell over me. And I started walking across this crosswalk.
Yeah.
And then a speeding car slammed into me, like took me out. I went through the windshield, like it was crazy.
Yeah.
Now I was walking because my phone had died. And I was trying to call an Uber, but my phone had died. But I was like, I'm close to my house. But my sister tells me, she arrives at the accident site, and I'm like out of it. I'm like, how are you even here? She's like, you called me on your phone and told me you got hit by a car. I'm like, my phone is dead. That's why I was walking. She's like, no, you called me on your phone. She picks up her phone and she shows me. She's a call from Echo. And I'm like, it literally would have been impossible for me to call you. My phone was dead, which is why I was walking in the first place instead of taking an Uber up the street.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, girl, you called me. I said, ooh, Jesus. And I just know the angels had rested on me right before I had walked across the street, because it literally within 3 weeks, there had been multiple people who I knew who had got hit by cars and died. And I just know that like I'm still like kind of dealing with that trauma. Like I just feel like unsafe in places a lot. Like, we're safe places where you should feel safe.
No,
right?
absolutely.
Because I'm like, it said cross. I'm in a crosswalk. Like I'm following all the right rules.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I feel just like a certain amount of like, unsafety.
Yeah.
But God is good because He just said,
You made it
girl,
through.
you don't have to feel unsafe. You need to feel saved, blessed, anointed,
And highly
relieved,
favored, boo.
all of that.
And
Yes,
highly favored
yes,
because that was where we're grateful that you're here, because there's been a few accidents where the outcome wasn't as positive.
Yeah.
So we're grateful that you're still
God's
here.
a good God.
All the time.
He's a way maker.
All the time. All the time. All right. So tell me, what's next for 508 Like, what's next for you guys?
Everything.
Okay.
The sky is the limit.
Okay.
And what I say by that is we officially applied to be our own 501c3 in April.
Yes.
So we're just waiting for the...
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a big deal.
Thank you. We're waiting for the official appointment from the government to come to say you're 501c3.
Yes.
We assembled a killer board. Our board is
awesome.
top notch.
Well, a lot of folks in the community.
Well, I'm glad that those folks stepped
said
up
yes,
and
they
chose
said
to
yes.
believe in me.
Absolutely.
We're in the process of applying for a lot of grants.
Good.
And I mean a lot.
The law,
Yeah.
the more you apply for, the more you can get, right?
Yeah.
And, with the current administration, attack on a lot of grants and institutions and nonprofits, there's less money. So there are more organizations applying for similar grants. So you do have to apply for more.
Yeah.
You
and
do.
We're also working with the city, though, because the city continues. So, I mean, if you want to change anything in the city, you got to show up.
You do.
You got to show up to school committee. You got to show up to city council, because that's how you get changes made. And in the AMP charts, again, if y'all want to get activated in the community and you want to take your purpose, the things that you believe in, especially this is for parents who have children in WPS from any grade. If you want to get activated on the things that you care about, Ann Bureau's PEP class, WCCCC.
I'm done with
3
you and your
Cs.
C's, girl. I'm done with you and your C's.
That's what it is. I just started going to the meetings. I started speaking up. I started bringing my youth. My youth started speaking up, and now the city knows who I am.
Good.
They know who my youth are.
Good.
They know what we do. I'm actively knocking on doors. I'm actively sitting in meetings with Councilor King, with Peter Dunn from the city. Councilor Ojeda called me yesterday. Like, let me see what I can do to help you, because the youth are our future.
Yes.
And the youth are coming to City Hall saying, we keep getting pushed around. We have nowhere to go. Why? We're serving the community. There's a lot of us, but we have no place to go. We need a place to go. And the city is hearing them. So I expect nothing other than the grace and the favor and the abundance of the Lord to come through, for us to have a space. And, I'm on the after school master plan with the city of Worcester, and that is a bunch of formal and informal childcare and after school programs in the city of Worcester, and their leaders who have joined together to figure out how is it possible for there to be a collaboration and partnership between programs and providers who are trying to provide youth programming to these youth and the school system collaborating to the point where they're allowing us to be on site at the school system, because obviously there's a transportation issue, right? Maybe there's a youth program, right, that your kid can get to, but you don't have transportation to get them there. You can't use that.
No.
You can't get your kid there. Now you got to pay $300 for a transportation thing to get your kid there, and you could barely afford the program in the first place.
Yeah.
Right? So if transportation is one of the largest challenges of connecting children and youth and early childhood programs with the right things, then why not cut out the transportation issue by allowing providers like myself or the Boys and Girls Club or the Friendly House or the YWCA or any of these other numerous providers to deliver programming on site at the school. There's classrooms, there's gyms, there's fields. Our tax dollars pay for it. Why aren't we able to come into the school system to do that?
And utilize them.
But the school system is agreeing. Luckily, under the Superintendent Menares has been amazing. She has been working hard with her current administration to work with the after-school master plan programming, and they're agreeing. They want to make it easier for programs like ours to come in, right? They want to make that work. So that's what we're actively working on right now, which is great. So hopefully, maybe I'll continue to be in the school system. Right now, I'm in Elm Park Community School. I don't have a place for the summer. I say this to say, I don't have a place for the summer. So if you're out there and you love youth, you have a space, you have a building, or the building has a gym or access to outside or a basketball court, and you want to allow me to use it to serve the youth, to serve the community, please reach out to me. We need a space. We're tired of being pushed around, and we're doing phenomenal work. And we need partners, we need supporters, we need funders. But for right now, we need a space for the summer for 6 weeks.
All right, space for the summer. Funding is always important. Community partners, collaborators, reach out. Let's see how you can work together to help the youth.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they've been saying it forever, but the truth, the youth is our future. They are our future because at one point we were youth, and now we have to do it to make sure, because I think each generation, we have an obligation to make it better for the generation coming.
Yeah.
And, there's so much I think that we can learn from these youngins, and I think so. Great job. Great job with 508 Chairs. Very, very proud of you. Let's shout out what the chairs mean again.
Community, health, equity, empowerment, resources, and service.
All right. I love it. So, Louissaint, founder and executive producer. I'm so used to saying executive producer. Executive director of 508 Cheers. Check them out. Do you guys have a website?
We do. We have a beautiful website where you'll get to see videos of our youth, testimonies, the fun things that they're doing, a breakdown of our programs, and all the ways that you can contact me. It's www.508cheers.org. And our Facebook has a lot of good, recent of what we've been up to. But definitely check out the website. It's beautiful. And, our youth are doing a lot of those videos. They're making a lot of the videos.
Love it.
We're trying to teach them the power of their voice and of their actions, and the kind of using social media for good.
Yeah.
Right? and it started by saying, all right, how many of y'all love Instagram and Facebook and TikTok? And the whole room went like this.
Yeah.
I said, all right, how many of y'all want to be on the social media team? Right? And I said, great. Now you're going to put all that, you know, the little,
energy and thought.
everywhere we go, and we could be anywhere. That we could be in Dunkin' Donuts, the kids. We're at Louissaint in a suite.
Okay.
I'm like, what are you doing? We're TikToking. We're in the grocery store. They're pushing the.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Let them do it.
So now, yeah. So welcome to my social media team.
I love it.
And it's beautiful. And we just take everything that they love, and we teach them how to use it for good. Right? It's like God says, anything that you give to me and you use it for me, I'll multiply it. Right?
Okay.
Use your talents for good. We don't care what your talents are. We want to identify it, acknowledge it, and teach you how to put it to work in a way that's going to make you feel positively about your contribution and about yourself, like really giving you self-worth and going, you're really great at that. That's something you're really fantastic at.
I love it.
And that, I mean, who doesn't like to hear that?
I know.
Right? Especially you. Sometimes they don't hear it enough.
They don't.
They don't.
They don't. They
You
don't.
know?
They don't. They need places and spaces where they can go and just they're being told how phenomenal they are.
Yeah.
And they can see it until they start to believe it. So thank you so much, Louissaint, founder of 508 C.H.E.E.R.S. So we're going to shift a little because you have some exciting things happening in a month's time.
Yes.
Let's bling it up, bling it up. Yes, in a month's time, homegirl is getting married.
Yes. I am. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Can you believe it? Like, it's almost here, girl.
I'm so excited. Are you excited to come though?
I am very, very excited. I am very, very excited. I don't know what I'm wearing, but I am very excited.
Well, so you know, summer, bright, fun.
Oh, girl, I'm just trying to find an excuse to shop. But.
Exactly. It's an outdoor wedding reception, outdoor ceremony, indoor reception, but then you can be in between indoors, outdoors. So
don't you worry.
It's gonna be
I'm
amazing.
just excited. I can't wait to see you in your gown
Thank
and all of
you.
that. So tell us all about it. How did we meet? What happened? Tell us the love story. Yes, we should have brought him today.
He's probably watching.
He better be watching.
Hey, babe. No. I literally said my whole life, I'm like, I'm never going to call anyone bae. I'm over here like,
oh my God. I love it. Love will do that to you.
We have been, listen, y'all, this is a Facebook story.
Yes, tell us about
We have
it.
been Facebook friends for about 7 years.
Yeah.
We always had a lot in common. We were always talking mostly about food. Let me tell you, he got me with the oxtail. And side note, I have still.
You do
where
love
is
cook
my
to cook.
oxtail? No,
He hasn't cooked it for you
never.
yet.
Reeled me in with the steak and cheese
No.
oxtail. Conversating about it, never got it. Still have yet to receive it. I'm confused. I'm gonna need a steak and cheese oxtail pre-wedding. You're on notice, Tommy Collins.
Yeah. First, you use the oxtail from my country to get my girl, and you didn't deliver on that? No, Tommy, no. All right, let's go on.
All right,
we'll
so
forgive him.
We're always talking. It's mostly about food, and we are both obsessed with scary movies. Love scary movies.
Yeah.
So anytime like a new scary movie would come on or a new scary series, we'd be like messaging each other. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Did you see the 51 states frights? It's like
Yeah.
51
Yeah.
ghost stories from the 51 states.
Yeah.
So he starts messaging me. He's like, why is there only 13 stories and it's 51 states terror? And I'm going, I'm waiting for the other, I'm not good with math, the other how many ever to drop. I'm a people person, so don't judge me.
It's okay.
I'm like, I don't know why there's only 13, but this is a travesty.
Yes.
So then we spend a lot of time, talking
Back and forth.
Just as always food, scary movies, but just friendly conversation. So finally I'm single. And he said, I peeped on I noticed a change in your Facebook. And I said, I think she might be single.
Okay.
So, we was just messaging each other. And, we've always had a good vibe.
Yeah.
So what had happened is his daughter was doing a fundraiser for cheerleading. And she was selling Krispy Kreme donuts. And I said, well, you know, I'm going to scope out the vibe through helping the kids. So, I said, whoop, whoop, hey, yeah, give me a box of them Krispy Kreme donuts.
I mean,
for your, and he said, yeah, great. He's like, I'll bring them to you.
Okay.
I said, oh, okay. So, a few weeks go by, and then he's like, oh, the order came in. Let me bring them to you. And he brings them to me, and he gets out the car, and I was like, damn.
Okay.
He kind of fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so he got some nice shoulders.
Okay.
He was kind of broad in the,
Okay. I didn't know where the show was going, but I'm rolling with it. Go on.
And then we just started chatting from there.
Yeah.
And it was so natural because it was like we were already friends. Like we had already, we had so much in common. I think in one of the early times in our dating, we were watching Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
Like we're scary movie people, old scary stuff. We watched some Twilight Zone, like real weird stuff, creepypastas. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I do not do scary.
We did the Friday the 13th scary movie marathon, watched all the Freddys.
Yeah.
Like just so much. And it was just so natural. It was like it was like we were best friends.
Oh.
It literally was like it was the most natural, unexpected. I tried to fight it. I told my sister, I'm not going to talk to him. I'm not ready for a good guy. He's a good guy.
Okay.
And my sister said, girl, you better go get you a good guy.
What on earth? What kind of logic is that?
Sometimes when you're healing or when you've gone through,
I'm aware.
Some things you need to take the time to make sure you're right with you. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes people want to rush into someone else before they heal. And I was just making
and
sure.
not hurt the other person.
I was just like making sure like I was good with me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he was so patient and wonderful and amazing. Again, like I think truly the entire world would be a better place if every girl had a Tommy. And what I mean by that is like he's my greatest friend.
Okay.
He's my greatest support. He's my greatest cheerleader. But he's also my leader and my protector and my provider. And if I'm walking in the dark and I can't see, if he tells me to go right, I just gonna go right. I don't gotta question it because you know what I mean? Because I
love
know
that for you.
That he's looking out for me, and he would never do anything counter to my benefit, to what's good for me.
Oh, I love that for you.
Yeah.
Girl, so your vows are done then. Like you're
No, my vows are not. Listen, I'm not going to write vows. I'm a speak from the heart person.
Oh, okay, cuz I was like, wait, you're just going to do the traditional?
No.
You're gonna,
I mean, so even if I wrote it, I'm not a good reader.
Yeah.
I'm blind.
Okay.
And too, like I'll stumble over reading it. I'm so natural. Like I just want to. Yeah. I want to share my heart with him. And it's. Oh my God. It's just like, I couldn't love myself properly, and then he came in and showed me that not only was I worth loving, but that he was going to love me, and he did love me, and the way I feel about me and who I am in this world is a reflection of who's standing beside me.
Oh my God, girl, that's amazing.
You know what I mean? And I don't know if you've seen like the glow up.
I have. You and I have had conversations when we were in our healing phase.
Yes.
And we've had some good talks. And then I remember, and then you were in your single phase, and then I was at an event where the first time I met Tommy. And like he was just like, so we just happened to sit next to each other, and he was just like, going on the line, my girl, my wife, and I was like, okay, boo, calm down. I said,
it was a fashion show that I was emceeing.
Yeah, I was like, first of all, who are you? Because you out here saying my wife, like, she's been hurt. Don't be trying to hurt my friend, because we don't play that. And he was like, no, I love her. And I was like, what? So I texted you.
You did.
I did. Oh, sorry, Tom. We're like spinning all the beans. And I was like, girl, this boy is like, oh, okay, all over you. And you were like, oh my God. So that was
just
really cute. Like I love how open he was. Like, cause he hadn't met me and I was like, who are you?
That's what I'm shocked about. I'm like,
he was very
he
open.
loves me out loud.
He does.
But not in like one of those sad,
yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? One of them sad, like you're all I got and
Yeah.
the only thing. And
Yeah.
and
No,
you're
no,
my
no.
whole life.
No. He
he's
was
like he's fully man.
He was. He was your number one
but
fan.
As a man, he's like, I love this woman.
He did.
Why would I not want the world to know that?
He did.
And that's something that's rare. Experience that.
Yeah, I'm so happy that you get to experience that one of a kind love. He was very open. He said it, and I was like, okay, calm down, boo, calm down.
So like, February 17th was like the first time we met.
Yeah.
April 4th, he proposed.
Wait, what?
February 17th was the first time we met in person.
Oh, okay. 2024.
Yes.
Okay.
And then April 4th of this year.
Oh, okay.
Is when he proposed.
Okay.
January 29th of June. I mean, June 29th. June 29th. This month, next month, we're not in June yet, right?
No, not yet.
June
you have a few
29th,
days. Yes.
We're getting married.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank
well,
you.
I'm honored to be a part of it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys go silly. I'm gonna see if you guys could make it without crying, though.
No, he's gonna cry.
Okay.
He's gonna cry.
I could tell.
He's definitely gonna cry.
I could tell. But
He's
that's the best.
Cry.
It's okay. The grooms could cry because they don't wear mascara. Like, they don't wear mascara. It's okay. They could cry. Like, I have seen a lot of weddings with the groom just being so overwhelmed with emotion that they're like, well, congratulations. I am so happy for that love story. I think every woman deserves a man that loves them for exactly who they are, and they feel, that I can be myself. Like, I don't have to change. I don't have to be more. I don't have to be less.
Nothing.
I am just loved for exactly who I am. So I'm so truly so happy for you. And I'm looking forward to a month from tomorrow. Yes, walking down the aisle. We won't shout out the last name yet. It will come about.
Yes.
We will change it up and
I'm
we
so
will.
excited.
Yes. I love it. Well, no, congratulations. And you're calm. Okay, girl. Homegirl is cheesing over here. Like, oh my God. But I will tell you though, like while I was at the fashion show, he was the same way. Like he was really silly and giddy with it. And I was like, okay, well, calm down. Like, so it's good.
We're both so
And that's what I
funny.
said to you. I was like, yeah, I said he matches your energy, girl. Because it's like,
Yeah.
he was just the same silly, lovey-dovey way about you.
Yeah.
And not being afraid to just be open and affectionate in public with it. So you deserve that.
We laugh a lot.
I can tell.
A lot. I don't work out much. I just laugh.
Yeah.
I just laugh my abs in.
However you get them workout in, girl. Like if it's laughing, it's laughing. But no, good job, Tommy. You did a good job.
Thank you.
You did a good job. So looking for, and you're calm.
Very
You're calm. Like the wedding's coming, and normally, folks turn into Bridezilla, but.
Well, do you want me to tell you why I'm
Tell
calm?
me why.
Okay, so you were talking about girls who uplift girls and the whole like support system. So
That's how it works.
My shout out to Madison Albany's Effortless Events, because let me tell y'all what she did, and I'm gonna try not to cry.
Okay.
So she is an event planner. She's a wedding planner, and she had this huge event, this huge vendor event, and she was doing a full wedding at a mansion. And she said, I need models for this. And I said, okay. I hit her up right. Hey, me and my man. I would love to be a model, but would love to consider, possibly getting married on site where, this is all taking place. It's going to be beautiful. So we had, no one's posted the pictures yet, but what Madison was able to pull together through her bringing together so many other vendors, so many other women, to make this one powerful, the most beautiful wedding I've ever seen at a mansion. Fresh flowers, beautiful setup, trellises, mobile bar carts,
Oh
like
my.
everything, like photographers, videographers, makeup artists, hair things. And it's like I said, girl, like this is like a wedding day to me. We weren't able to get our marriage certificate in time to actually get married at the mansion, but we were going to.
Okay.
We were going to get married at the mansion and do the public ceremony June 29th. But for us, that was like, that was our time. Full, like,
The whole full glam.
full everything.
Can't wait.
Everything on camera, the first look, the videos, everything. It was so stunning, and we got that time ourselves.
Just to you, for
Just
you
us.
guys. I love it.
So for me, next month, that's for everyone else.
Yeah, you
That's
guys
for
already
a
had
good
your
time.
moment.
That's a celebration. I don't gotta stress about, you know, now I gotta spend 4 hours taking pictures because this matters. This day is so important.
Because you got pictures.
Because we went and we did 6 hours with
Yes.
Madison Albany's Effortless Events. Every single vendor she pulled together. And let me tell you how amazing what she did is. So we've been getting picture after picture after picture and video after video after video. And we're going, oh my God, we can't share these like until we're married. But from all the vendors she put together, and there must have been 10 to 15.
Yeah.
We're using 2 of the photographers, 1 of the videographers, 1 of the cake people, the hair person, the makeup person, and one of the alternate decorators. All from her event.
That event. I love it.
All from her event.
I love it.
Right, but she said, okay, I'm gonna put all these powerful, extremely just valid on their own people together and make this one beautiful, you know, thing. And it, you know, Tommy and I were so lucky to be a part of it. And what came out of it, as single parents, we're both single parents.
Yeah.
He has a daughter. She just turned 17. Hey, Naimia. And you know, I have my boy Makai's gonna be 12 actually on Sunday, on June 8th.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Matson's 16. But you know, to be able to have that given to us as single parents who could never possibly afford like something of that magnitude, like at a mansion, and 4 different professional photographers and 3 videographers and every possible detail and beauty, and it was just, and because all the vendors knew it was like real for us, like they made it real for us, like cake cutting, ring ceremony, first look, videoed, every possible thing you could imagine.
I love it. Well, congratulations. I'm really happy for you. I'm really happy that you found a one-of-a-kind love, and I can't wait to celebrate with you in a month's time. And shout out to your community, your people, your village, your tribe, whatever you want to call them, your girls that just showed up for you and, you know, allowed you to have the thing of your dreams. So, all right. So I know it's almost an hour. I think we have like 2 minutes left. I'm looking at.
Oh my gosh, that went by so quick.
It did. What I tell you about this, we forget the camera and we just, because it's just, I just love having conversations with people, right? I call it a fireside chat without the fire. So it's like garden chat. But I like to ask folks what they do for self-care. So there's so many other things we could have talked about. And, you know, that's why I'm always trying to do these things where I find spaces for women, because I love hearing about women just living their lives and inspiring and doing all these things. But before we wrap this up, because there's a lot that you do, you're a mom, you work, you have a nonprofit, you do things in the community, you know, your fiance about to be a bride. What is it that Echo does for self-care for Echo?
I like to do nothing with my fiance.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is like no phones, you know, just us. Okay. Usually we're watching like a scary movie or a thriller, and we're just lazy.
Okay.
We're not doing anything in particular. We're just together because I'm always somewhere.
Yes.
I'm always doing something. Someone always needs me. So just know. The word no is self-care for me. And I'm finding myself saying no.
Good.
And I'm finding myself on the weekends going, oh, it's the weekend. And well, I'm going to do nothing today.
Yeah.
And that's pretty damn amazing.
Okay.
And that is self-care, giving your self permission to not.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you. I think that's a perfect way to end. So thank you all so much for tuning in. If you're on YouTube, you're on the Positive Vibe Studio, Facebook, at Positively Suzanne. I was chatting with the lovely Louissaint. We talked about your work, what you do with an amazing organization that does so much in the community. We talk about your nonprofit, 508 C.H.E.E.R.S. Go check them out on their website. Find out how you can help. And we talk about you finding your one-of-a-kind love that every woman deserves, and you're going to have the wedding of your dreams, and just really talk about some of the things that are common. I think, community, showing up, being there for others and being in service of others. So thank you for all that you do, and thank you for being on the show, and I appreciate you.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Anytime.
Hey.
So, shout out to our executive producer, Paul Anderson, for making the magic happen week after week. I really appreciate each and every one of my subscribers and our viewers, and as always, my lovely guests. So until next time, this is Suzanne saying, and Echo, hey,
Bye.